basically what had happened was these things leaked. Elbow's basically talking about people in AEW. And basically, some people are saying it's rumors and innuendo. Some people, he's telling it like it's all factual. Some people are, saying it's all lies, which we're going to get to. So this guy, Jack Picante, says some idiots are paying way more than $5 a month. And so there's these people, I guess, who are charging. So it's not just Elboo. It's like him and his bros. We've covered a couple of them. I think with the one is like, oh, Roman Reigns has Hitler aura and stuff like that, right? Or the one guy's like listing all of his favorite Corno scenes, and we're laughing at these folks, right? What happens is this guy says some idiots are paying way more than $5 a month. Yeah, so I don't know. These are self-made man, match picker, join the mob, and I guess you pay $5-10. You get into the Discord, and you get to, I guess, listen to these stories, bonus content, bonus podcast, whatever. So sort of like a Patreon, but I mean, more slutty, I'd say. I don't know. Shout out YouTube. We're not even deep into the show, and we're just cussing up a storm here. But either way, we're going to sort of circle back to that because this one comes up a couple times. This Gangsta Bob fellow says either Ibou is lying and making up stories so people pay him $5, or AEW wrestlers are calling a zesty man who never wrestled in his damn life for advice to get closer to Tony Khan. And my whole thing is this. I have called out like the guy who goes, I could just pick up the phone and call Tony Khan for a job. I'm pretty sure and from my understanding, the context I've been provided personally, yeah, I would say he's basically the underlying thing that I'm made to understand is he's a liar and nobody likes this guy and he doesn't have access like that. You know what I mean? I could text Tony for a job. Kid you? Why don't you do that then? Instead you work for SAP, which, I mean, that's everybody's prerogative. Either way, though. So here's some of the clips of the things he was saying. Let's play some of these, react to some of this stuff. And I don't know, chat, you can tell me how you feel as we go. I'll pause it, EFAP it, do my thing, give my thoughts. So basically, how it was explained to me is this is more akin to like drunken buddies telling stories to try and sound cool that are either complete lies or greatly exaggerated, or, I was told specifically, like, no, I worked in the office as a talent, as everything there. This is all okay. I'm shooting from the hip here. So let's listen to what they got to say about a bunch of people, a whole gang of people. Britt Baker called him out publicly. We'll go over that in a minute too. But yeah, let's see what Elboo and his gaggle of cronies have to say here about AEW.
The course of the last year, there's been a ton of people turning down jobs. There's been a ton of people turning down working with other people. Don't aggregate. John Moxley finally agreed to do a program with MJF after months of negging, I guess is the best way to say it. But yeah, man, there's so many talents that call me on a weekly basis. And basically, they either called a vent or they ask me, like, what can I even pitch to get myself out of the situation? But I don't know what I'm doing anymore. And it's not even like you could probably guess, but like it's more than just like even obvious people. Like
so more than just obvious people are hitting up Elboo to pitch, to get things pitched to Tony, or to pitch him things to then pitch. George is here, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to say though, right off the rip,
you what?
Elboo apparently wrestlers who you wouldn't think. So I don't think any would. Who does he mean? Serpentico's asking him for advice? Like, who's he talking about? And Helico's like, hey, man, how do I get closer to the boss? And just the way Elboo refers to TK as like boss man, we'll see it in some of his tweets. It makes you wonder, is he hired by this dude or anything like that? Well, no. Okay, I'm here to tell you guys no. I've been told directly no. Not at all.
It's a lot of talent, bro. People who are on the undercard, people who aren't pushed, to people who are very pushed and very successful, just calling me and being like, bro, like, I don't even know what to do. While I'm at my job, like, it's really, really sad, to be honest with you. It's really sad. I could say more.
You know how stupid you have to be to even think something like that, let alone say it publicly and act like you're serious.
Yeah, for real, dude. That's hilarious. Okay, so that's like Meltzer-esque level dumb, right? So we click on the next.
It was do you remember the collision? cut one of it was the. Do you remember the collision where the Brochachos faced FTR? Do you guys remember that collision?
Yeah.
Brochachos
Yeah.
FTR. Right before Max walks out, CM Punk runs in Gorilla, grabs Max by the arm, looks him in the eye and says, "You are making a big mistake." And Max yanks his arm and is like, "Let go of me," and walks out.
Okay. So what is he saying? I don't even believe this. Yo, chat, do you even believe this? Who would even tell him this? Who would tell him this? And then remember, he was talking because we awful brought the one clip. And by the way, I want to say too, I don't give a like the people who leak this. I know that personal lives have been affected and stuff, and that is very unfortunate if someone's going to just stew or greatly exaggerate or embellish or lie by omission, or there's numerous different ways to lie. You know what I mean? And or they're just blatantly lying. That's definitely unfortunate. But like he did this to himself. Him getting clowned for this that's reaping what he sows. I saw people were like, he got doxxed. Okay, that's not cool, right? Not cool in any way. And there's just a weird subculture of the IWC that just that's like what they're focused on, and it's weird. We know who created that culture in the IWC, okay? And it's very unfortunate so I don't condone any of that. I just make fun of dummies, and that's what I do. I just make fun of but yeah, I don't know, man. We also got to think about how this affects people, like just saying this. And then Punk and MJF are like, they don't care about this he's talking, but I just don't know if I believe this or if it's just two men having a man interaction that like Ibou's not accustomed to. He's never seen Punk have to grab another dude and go, look, man, like the quarterback call this receiver and go, dude, you run this route. I don't care what coach says. We make this play. You ready? Or whatever. Not to make it like a movie, but you guys get it. Like that could have just been like a man interaction. He's never had in his life, or so I don't know. That's more how I feel. Just because of the other he says openly and publicly, I can book NXT better than HBK. It just seems like a dude talking out of his ass. That's my opinion. But here, let's see if there's any weight to anything this featherweight saying here.
It's just very funny. Nevertheless, a few weeks later, Max had to go. It was like an upcoming collision.
Jose, the assistant in the chat, shout him out, and he gets brought up in this as well. And yeah, we're going to laugh at that as well. Jose, we got you. Don't worry. We're getting to that part, and shout you out for checking in with the show. Everyone go follow Jose on X, by the way. So moving along here, he did say Brit. We're going to get into that, and I can. Here's the thing, because we've been chronicling the Brit stuff for a while, and we kind of were like, I think that stuff's kind of man. We said that a while back because that's rumors that's been floating around forever, But either way, we'll get to it when we get there.
Where Punk basically tells Max, "Don't come to TV." Max said, "Why?" He said, "If you come to TV, I'm going to kill you." MJF gets really, really angry. And he drives miles upon miles upon miles upon miles.
Oh my God, we get
for hours on end.
Worst storyteller
from Long Island to Newark, New Jersey.
That's not. I mean, that's not that long, bro.
It was far in Long Island. He gets to TV.
Yo, he goes, that's not that far. It was pretty far. This guy's lying through his teeth right now.
Goes backstage in the middle of a Punk creative meeting in Collision. And Max goes ballistic and says, "You want to kill me? You want to kill me? You want to touch me? You!" And he's just throwing. And then Punk was like, "You!" And they just start fighting. They just start fighting. And yeah.
Who like his boys aren't even popping for this man. Because they know it's like, who's even buying this? Who told him that this happened? Jose, you're in the chat. Who told him? Who told him this happened, man? I don't even believe this. I'm so sorry, guys. I know people want to believe this too. To me, it's just about look how these dudes are clowning on AEW and they're like the AEW virtue signalers in the public. And then they just laugh at Tony Khan, stooge. Let's say this is real. Why are you stooging everyone who apparently trusted you that you can just text for jobs? It's just low, man.
Next on the way home is sending like an unhealthy amount of paragraphs via text to CM Punk. Just an unhealthy amount. Voice messages, text.
Yeah, nigga, I'll beat your ass. Wonder who dropped you off.
It's a lot of like, how could you act
Ice
like
that eye up, my boy.
It's a lot of I hate you. I hate you so much. Da, 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 da. It's just a lot. It's just a
Jesus. It is a lot. This is a lot, guys. God, we got a lot to get to. So I don't know. I think we
whip his cock.
let's see.
Whip his cock. But basically, Max had some residual, whatever you want to call it.
Were they just talking about his dick? Did you say cock meat? Sorry, YouTube. This one, I know. This yellow flags in the chat. Okay.
And when Punk came back, his energy was like, yeah, Phil's my brother. I want to work with him. Let's be pros type, right? But the macho part of Max is like, I'm gonna show this nigga he walking back into my house now, nigga. So I'll say this: there was some collision TVs where Max was at, where Max wanted to kind of whip his cock out a little bit, let him know who's running AEW right now. And Max, let it not be mistaken, Max is running AEW in 2023 for better and for worse.
If MJF heard this chat, do you know what he would say right now?
You mark.
But seriously though, what are these guys talking about, man?
And he pretty much told Punk, yo, I'll work with you after I'm done with my with Cole. And Punk was just like, you let me know now, bro. Like, am I going to cut this promo on you at TV? And Max told him at the very last second, when you pull that belt out and show that belt, don't mention me. And he was just like, are you serious, dude? And he was like, yeah, don't mention me. We're going to do this thing later. And Punk was like, can we do this in Chicago? And he was like, no. And he told Punk, me versus you at World's End after I'm done with Cole. And Punk was like, you're going to throw ours away for Adam Cole. And then Max was like, and Max told him to his face, my thing with Adam Cole is more over than everything you're doing.
So, okay, guys, and I hate to be this dude, but like MJF pops up in Ibou's spaces or like his live, whatever. So you guys is basically what he's just stooging here is Max told him all this stuff. Is that essentially what, this is Max is like tough, or is this made up because Max is his friend? You don't know with slimy weirdos like this. Now, also, I'm sure in the wrestling business, conversations like this go down all the time. Now, this isn't even the most spicy stuff. This is like RF video, swapping stories, shoots, interview style, Sean Oliver. There's like real things that get said about people cheating and other things like this that come up. So this is just like the whipped cream. I don't know. This is just the ice cream of the sundae, right? There's like cherries and nuts and chocolate sauce all over the place we're about to get to. And yeah, I guess it takes a little dark turn a bit. But so far, I would just say that, okay, let's say that Punk MJF stuff was kind of true. I'm sure those types of conversations happen all the time in pro wrestling, especially when you're dealing with someone like Punk, who's like a legit star and a draw, and MJF, who's one of the pillars, if you will, but just one of the main AEW guys, I could totally see them having to hash that out, but maybe not so aggro. And if it is true, and like your friend is telling you this, let's say MJF's your friend, he comes in your space, and this is true. Well, like, why would you tell people this? Why would you stooge that out? Oh, they paid me $5 to hear this story. That makes it worse, That makes it even worse, in my opinion.
He basically made like a psychotic chuckle, like what?
I mean,
and
I don't know, very low stuff, man. I've been on the forefront of calling Ibou out forever. I coined the name Ibou because I've been saying he constantly takes L's. I sniffed this guy out so long ago with this stuff. So basically, we got more though. I should make this clear too. I was sent a file of like this whole thing. I don't know. It's like 3 hours long, or I think it's up, man. So like, I don't know. There's more to this. Like if I siphon through every minute, every second of every hour, I'm sure I could dig up more stuff. I'm not going to do that. Right. But that's what I mean. This whole thing was floating around before someone got their hands on it and just started firing off clips of it as well. So that should be known too. It's like, I don't know who's in his Discord. I don't know who leaked the stuff. I don't know who got a hold of it, but my DMs blew up immediately. And it was like before I could even listen to anything, it was already just clipped up and ready to go. Yeah, is that to do? Sure, but it's also to pay. You're just in a storm, buddy. I don't know if anybody watches Trailer Park Boys here, but you're just in like a whirlwind, you know? There's no, everybody's being, and then this is what comes of it, you know? But anyways, let's hear if anything else was added here.
Year, there's been a ton of people turning down jobs.
No, we already listened to that clip. Okay, I'm just trying to make sure we hear all the clips before I then we get into the Jose stuff as well. He was called a racialist, a Spanish dude from East LA. Racialist, right? I guess, but completely ridiculous. But let's see here if there's anything.
With his cop. He pretty much.
Yeah, we listened to that one. We listened to the MJF stuff. She Slay Daily says the funniest thing about the Ibou situation is that he is being canceled for the very same thing he accused me of 2 days ago. He accused me of snitching on Britt Baker, only for him to get exposed by the very same person for lying. Look at God. And yeah, so Ibou said, like, is this not snitching for posting about, you know, oh, is Britt Baker cheating type thing? And then Elboo's like charging people money to then gossip that she's cheating on people. Now, let me just like talk about the Brit stuff, I guess, for a second, because it's come up numerous times here. So let's rewind. A long time ago in PWT, early on, I had brought that to the show. There was a gentleman, Brad Shepard and Billy Body. We're talking on a podcast about Britt Baker cheats on Adam Cole and they have an open relationship. And this was like 2 years ago. It's a long time ago. And we reacted to it on the show. And I was like, I don't know if that's true. And then even Billy Body himself went on his show later and was like, you know what? I've seen them in the hotels and I don't really think that's the truth. And even he sort of walked that back. And yeah, those rumors have been flying around like forever. But as time goes on, it seems like they've been like less substantiated. You know what I mean? And so Britt's not, and also as we've talked about before, like the Jada J thing went down. And I was like, listen, man, you don't know if people are cool like that in their relationships, right? It's 2025, man. I've said it before. There's all type of people. There's all type of relationships. You don't know if people are like, okay with, you don't know. It's none of your business. So she hasn't like denied that aspect and why, like why lend any validity to it. But for Ibou to, again, like publicly, he postures and acts like, oh, wouldn't this be snitching? And then he's just, I'll snitch behind a paywall, though. Give me $5 and I'll say the same thing that I'm going to call out here. He's a goddamn fool. Let's move along. Let's see if there's more clips. I think he's like trashing Moxley in one of them. He's like, he's not a draw or something.
Losing Mox hurt AEW's business.
Oh my God, the phantom bookmarks, the phantom of the bookmarks. So basically it was like, is losing Moxley hurting AEW's business? Dude, the black helicopters, they're snapping me, chat. Oh my God. They're warring over the info right now. Basically, yeah, legit though. It just Phantom removed that. So there you go. Basically, he just buried Mox for not being a draw, you know, which we covered it. They just went to his hometown. There was like 1,000 tickets sold. Feel bad for the dude, you know, but we put that more on the booking and like that than anything else. Absolutely. I'm not saying, oh, they're not allowed to criticize AEW folk, but it's the fact that they flex their access publicly. Elbou goes, I could just text for a job. And then he's just snitching these stories behind a paywall that are most likely not true. And the way it was described to me was like dudes at a bar drunkenly trying to fool, telling war stories. And I'm telling y'all this too. I can add insight. I've seen things, okay? But listen, people have given him great advice on how to rectify this too, which he won't accept. He just believes that selling for the IWC and the people dogpiling on him is not good for him to do. But it's like, you got to think about the people who are affected by saying you cheat, this person cheats or whatever, when you're somebody who people are supposed to believe in for news. Like when Backup Hangman has a scoop, we're all supposed to believe it, right? Or else we get gatekept and told we're obsessive haters, and you guys know the drill. So this person is then adding validity to, no, yeah, she's a cheater or whatever. And some people may say I'm doing the same, but I just got to cover it. You know what I mean? So here, people tried to dox Elbou. I said doxing him is dumb as I don't condone or co-sign that type of behavior at all. I covered that before. Obviously, nobody should be doing that. Here we go. Here's him talking about Tony Khan and laughing at Tony McCon here.
So
yeah, someone asked, yo, they asked all of us, they said,
Did the elite actually think about leaving in 2023?
Yes.
Very,
Yes.
very, very, very,
Yes.
very strongly.
Bro, they've
Um,
told the story. Bro, the Bucks have told the story. And it's a shoot, bro. They didn't all agree on staying in AEW.
I'm gonna put it to you guys like this. This is gonna sound insane. Don't aggregate this, but like, they will. Do you guys remember that period in like roughly March of 2023, February, March, where the elite were barely on television? It was basically because Tony had no clue what they were about to do. And so he was like, "You will not be on my show until I get a guarantee." Around this time, behind the scenes, the vibe they were getting was Tony was a CM Punk guy, not an elite guy. And
The
they were,
vibe they
and
was getting, huh? That was just the vibe they were getting.
it was not just a vibe. Listen, I'll say this: their vibe was not unfounded. Tony was very much, unfortunately, talking about them behind their backs, and they're not stupid. They're just not stupid. And Kenny Omega was like, "I think we should just try our hand at WWE. I think we should just try it. I think we should just straight up just go." Hangman Page was like, "Well, I hate it here, and I hate my life, so I think we should go."
Might as well.
Yes. So Kenny.
So they're saying this like they were in the room, you know, when they had the convo. So who's telling them that Kenny's like, we should try our hand at WWE, which I wouldn't fault him. He should. For real, dude, get out of there, bro. No, but and then Hangman being like, I hate it here and everything. Is that for real? I mean, even if it is, I just feel it's weird to like charge $5 to then tell people this and not like, let's say I'm a journalist or whatever they're trying to be. When the stories come up of the elite are negotiating their contracts, wouldn't this be like a story you write then or whatever? Are they just hearing this way in hindsight and then leaking it out there? I don't know. I think a lot of this is lies. I think it's just hearsay, secondhand, thirdhand stories. Like I was told this from someone who was told this via text. So we don't really know how people like what they mean, the cadence in their voice, etc.
Basically,
Do not aggregate. Do not aggregate. Do not aggregate.
It didn't literally
Do
happen
not aggregate. Do not aggregate. Do not aggregate.
in this exact way, but to do like an almost dramatization cartoon version. Kenny was basically like, "All in favor of WWE, say aye." And Hangman was like, "Aye," and the Bucks are like, "Well, well."
The Bucks were split themselves, by the way. I don't know which one was on which side, though.
Yeah, but basically what happened was ultimately the Bucks were like, "Give us a second on this," and eventually they basically just they basically did some due diligence and they realized that like if we leave AEW, like 40 people are going to lose their jobs on screen and back behind the scenes. There are a lot of people in AEW that are only there because the Bucks got them in there. A lot of people, and the Bucks are like, so many people are not going to get renewed, and so many people are going to get straight up like let go and fired if we leave, and only like a small fraction of them will be taken by WWE, and so they're just kind of like, I don't know, man. I feel guilty about that. Couple that with Barry Bloom securing them a really, really great offer, and they were like, I don't know. I want to make something also very,
I'll give you NBA level money.
I want to make something very clear, guys. When they were suspended from AEW, this is during the suspension, the Bucks hit up Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
And they basically were like,
Yo, what's going on over there, bro?
What's going on? And Kevin Owens is like, yo, it's kind of beast right now.
Yo, the water's warm.
He was
The
like,
water's warm.
So Kevin Owens is telling them stories too now. Good old Steen, huh? Hopping on the phone here with Ibou and Ow or whoever else is in here.
I'll talk to the
Kevin was like, Kevin looked around like, yo, this is booking eye. I can't lie, it's booking eye. He's like, this is booking eye right now. He's like, I got
Mania, nigga.
I'm a mania.
Yeah, he's like, I'm about to name that Mania. I'm about to do some he's like, I'm about to like rep PWG on the big stage and shit. And the Bucks are like, yo, for real? And he was like, yo, it's pretty beast. you let me know that shit. Very super quiet, ultra mega deep cut. Paul Heyman was offered to book SmackDown in late 2022. And Paul Heyman said, the only way I take on that.
How do they know all this if they do? You know, I just wonder who's calling these people on the phone and telling them this, or who's texting them. And if they are, I hope you see now what I've been saying the whole time, right? You don't trust people like this. It's bananas, okay? I can holy, especially if you're working, because here's the thing. Reporting what's really happening in pro wrestling is like pretty inconsequential. You know what I mean? Like reporting what's really going on. And again, you guys know, like, wrestling is real, damn it. It's back. You guys know how I feel about it. Reporting something that actually affects people's lives. That, yes, absolutely leak that out there if it needs to be, blah, 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 right? I just don't see what good this does for anybody other than them just being able to have marks on the internet go, oh, if you pay them $5, they'll tell you all the stories Tony's texting them or all the stories MJF or whoever's texting them, right? So that's what I mean. It's very, if they're being told this information and they're writing stories and articles and da-da-da, okay. But I don't know, man. It just, no, I feel slimed out listening to this stuff.
That level of stress again is if you get me the following wrestlers. And he gave Paul Levesque a wish list. Dragon Lee was on the wish list, but the number one on his wish list was Kenny Omega.
By God, Omega.
Paul Heyman said, get me Kenny Omega and I'll book this whole company.
Yo, Kenny, help me out here, bro. Please, bro.
That didn't happen. And Paul said, all that it's big Roman Allen.
I'm gonna keep sucking Roman's dick, bro. You ain't getting Kenny.
Yes. Yeah. So a lot of this was happening behind the scenes. Was there some tampering? You bet your ass. There was a lot of tampering happening.
Now just accusing people of contract tampering.
There's a lot of Nick Khan phone calls. and here's the thing.
So, and then how does the elite respect Tony then? They're just, oh, the contract tampering. Tony Khan's always talking about they're phoning. Nick Khan's getting calls from Kenny Omega. Like, come on, man. If this is true, this all could just be made up. I mean, you can't trust anything these weasels got to say.
Tony suspected this, and that also added to his elite haterism. There's a lot of Tony Khan talking to Phil like, look at these schmoozing with Triple H, betraying me. You would never betray me, Phil. And there's a lot of like,
nah, this has got to be made up, bro. Because he sided with the Bucks and them in the whole situation, dude. Ultimately, at the end of the day, so maybe, I don't know. Action Bronson said it's very high schoolish, but I mean, come on, who's telling them this intricate of details? And that's why, again, I will just say, if they're making it up, yeah, I wouldn't be shocked. If people are telling them this, I don't know. I hope lessons are learned, you know? It's just, be careful who you tell to, man. Jesus.
there's a lot of
and they're just laughing at it like, what's so funny about this? The betrayal of trust? What is it? Right? The backstabbery? What are you laughing at, bro?
But there's a lot of that. Nevertheless, the Bucks ended up deciding, like, look, we don't really like Tony anymore as a human being, and we're not friends with him. But we're about to get a great deal. We do still like this place. We're not going to stress ourselves out about AEW on a day-to-day basis the way we did before. We're not going to lose sleep when we do a bad rating. We're not going to lose sleep if the fans don't like a certain show. But we do still care in the sense that we're going to come to work, we're going to get paid, and we're going to do our best. So,
and we just don't like this guy or his family, so we're going to do an angle where we pile drive him and name the move after him, and then his dad's going to come out because we just don't even like this guy.
So on behalf of all the talent that are under our wing, who need to be here because of us, we're going to just stick around. We're going to get this great extension. We're going to get paid great, and I think we should stay. And Kenny's stance was, he wanted to go to WWE, but it wasn't so strong that he was like willing to fight over this. Kenny wanted to stick together. And he basically was like, well, if that's what you want to do, then that's what we're going to do. And so they all Hangman Page reluctantly resigned. And here's another fun story. When the Hangman Page Swerve feud was pitched, right? Hangman Page's stance was, brother, I'll do any pitch as long as it's not working with Phil. I don't care anymore. I don't really even like wrestling anymore. I just don't care. And then the Swerve pitch was made and they put it all together. And it was communicated to Hangman like, dude, you're great at this, man. Like, you're amazing. Like, you need to realize that and remember that. Like, you are.
So it's like he knows what Kenny had to say about Hangman and what Hangman said, and then they told him this. Like, someone's stooging everything, or this dude's got a tremendous imagination.
Tremendous at your job.
Tremendous.
And by the time you were like midway through the program, Hangman Page was like, dude, like, this like brought my passion back for wrestling.
Bro, Swerve and Will Wash made Hangman love wrestling again, bro.
As a shoot.
His cousin, Swerve made Will Washington, his cousin, love wrestling again?
Shoot.
Black Lives Matter.
The guy who works in the company doesn't love wrestling. Why does nobody love wrestling there? I don't get it. Okay, so that was a long ass clip. Jeepers creepers. So Ricochet pipes in, and this guy says, I've never personally understood wanting to know so much backstage information or drama about wrestling. Anyway, I watch professional wrestling for the love of the sport, and I couldn't give less of a fuck about what goes on backstage or in their personal lives. The recent obsession with wanting to know every leak and future plan has always been bizarre to me. Because growing up, surprise debuts and shock returns were one of the best parts of wrestling for me. So I never understood wanting to know everything before it happens. Yeah, like I tweeted at Fightful the other day because they reported they're like, AEW has no plans of putting a title on Jeff Jarrett. And I'm like, man, that's like one of two stories they got that are actually something is there. You know, there's actually two guys. I get it. People don't want to hear the same old Owen lines and everything, but you got at least a story they're trying to tell with two guys that we know have proven can tell stories in Jeff Jarrett and MJF. And I'm not saying, oh, Jeff Jarrett might get the world title, but like, why would you just come out and say they have no plans to do that and just ruin the whole story? But then in the same note, get mad and say, oh, this affects people's lives when you talk about others. That's the gatekeepy aspect I hate, you know? Debuts and shock returns, etc. And then Ricochet responds and he goes, those kinds of people are called marks. They're a virus, literally the lowest form of human. It's like the sicko song I play, right? At the start of the show. It's pretty much that, right? So yeah, Ricochet had that to say. Let's see some of the Britt Baker stuff here because she did respond. So correct. She responded to this. Let's see this. This person says, Britt never apologized to Ibou despite the claims. And then Britt says, correct. There was one part, though, where she responds to Ibou directly. Yeah, here. So Ibou says, the Britt Baker cheating rumor was one that was circulating for a long time, far before I ever acknowledged it. And her most recent post came after Conan spoke about it on his show. That said, I did contribute to this when I made an ill-advised joke during a period when so people cheating on people is jokes that you're convinced, you have people convinced to where they'll pay you $5 that you know these people and you can tell beat by beat by beat, miles for miles for miles, right? MJF drove miles and miles and was saying this, and Hangman said this, and Kenny said, who votes? And we all said, aye, Captain. And we're led to believe you know all of this, but, it was just a joke that Britt was cheating when I said that part. That part was just, me and my jokes. You're a joke, Ibou. And then Britt Baker says false, and then so just like owns them publicly. So there you go, right? I believe he responds to that as well. He's like, I misconstrued this as like right here. Look at this. So I go, common Ibou. This guy really stinks and is a clown. There's a reason he became one of my fools very early on. I knew he was going to start feeling himself too much this year. And then back up Hangman. The Britt Baker cheating rumor was one that was circulating for a long time, far before I ever acknowledged it. And her most recent post came after Conan spoke about, this is the continuation. I just had a very positive conversation with Britt, who reached out essentially apologizing. So this is classic like narcissism. Deflect, and then you owe me an apology. I'm actually the victim, in all of this. I'm telling you, man, I'm not a doctor, but it's some sociopathy type shit. No, she messaged me, actually. She apologized to me, bro. No, she didn't. And then she even responded, false, Among numerous things, I made it very clear to her that none of my contributions to this were formal reports and still apologized for feeding into it. And yeah, I will say this, like, privately, dudes making the rounds apologizing, I'm sure, right? But it's like, I'm pretty sure people have told him how to remedy this, which he won't do. He wants to do it in his Discord or his YouTube, where you can just private it after or put it behind that $5 thing instead of just, he could write all this. Instead of this, he could just be like, everyone I heard, I'm sorry, I felt so bad. Like, revoke my access. I don't deserve it. And then that's the other thing too, because I said that. Well, it's access. And then the response I got, okay, from someone very legit, okay, was like, what access? No one likes this guy, you know? So it's like, all right. So, yeah, anyways, that's him trying to flip-flop around, cop out. SNME's almost on. We're almost done this too. I know this is just ugly, goofy silliness, but let's see what's said here. We have a bunch. Respectfully, mate, how has a Discord that talks about wrestling gossip changed people's lives and helped them on day-to-day basis? And Ibou says, feel free to ask people in it. It's been a great community. We've shared great wrestling from all around the world and different time periods, forged friendships, and had great conversation in here. That was the express purpose of the community. And then this guy says, forged friendships, at best some chance perfunctory acquaintanceships. Acquaintanceships, okay? This isn't a shonen anime, Ibou. People with the speaker role haven't had the chance to talk to you a single time. Not once. That's not my idea of forging friendships. And Ibou says, this isn't true. I've had numerous voice chats with speakers and a couple wrestling watch sessions with speakers. So, like, they're charging people to talk with him and to speak with these guys and get these little girly tales, right? And he's not even delivering on the shit they're paying him for. He's just in there gossiping with these fools and stooging his friends, allegedly. So this guy goes, that is a blatant lie. I'm a $20 tier member, and not once have you had anyone on except that one fellow who read the questions during a Scoops thread. Unless this took place in the first couple of days before the Patreon got shut down, this simply isn't true. And why is Patreon getting shut down? And Jesus Christ. So yeah, just like ripping people off for these lies. So that's what I mean. That's the type of behavior you see out of it, you know? This person. It persists. Alfred Konowa laughs at, Ibou got community noted over the Dr. Britt Baker stuff. Dr. Britt Baker never apologized to this user. It is completely fabricated. She states it herself here. So boom. Shout out at This Is Nasty. Let's see here. This guy says, since SRS told us to cite sources, here's your King Ao and backup Hangman saying that Lucha Angel 1 punched Kyle Fletcher pro over Sky Blue. Says Sky Blue cheated with Blake Christian or Black Christian, Blake Christian. Jose, the assistant, is racist to Stokely. Sheesh. Tony Khan. I mean, let's listen to this next one.
Here's another fight that no one knew about. I think it was a Ring of Honor taping. Darius Martin and Kyle Fletcher got into a fist fight. And
Nice.
Oh yeah, that was over
So Darius
Sky Blue.
at an ROH taping, Darius Martin like punched Kyle Fletcher in the mouth for real, and that was basically a receipt for his brother, basically, and it led to that Sky Blue gif is crazy.
Y'all wanna hear something funny, bro? Do not aggregate. Do not aggregate.
Do not aggregate. Why does he keep saying that? Do not aggregate.
Do not aggregate. Roosh is real cool with Top Flight, bro. They worked at the California Indies a lot together on some lucha shit. Yeah, man, it got back. It got
Shout out Roosh, by the way. Push Roosh.
back to Roosh that one Blake Christian Sky Blue when she was dating Dante Martin. And Roosh.
This is just high school bullshit, man. It's American Pie. Do. I want something. You know what I mean? I don't even know if I'm singing it right. I'm in pain.
Roosh couldn't stand for that, bro. So he on dark, Roosh just like shot on Blake Christian the entire match. He was just like, punch him in the face, and then they gave him a shoot. Don't mess with the horn, bro.
I mean, Roosh shot. It looked like he beat the shit out of Jack Perry too. I bring it up all the time. It's one of the most legendary moments in AEW. And when Roosh wrestled Danielson as well, there's a point where they're both standing on the apron exchanging chops for a second. And you can see Danielson's looking at him like, are you for real? But he's got a smile on his face because Danielson loves that. So he just gives it right back to Roosh. Roosh gives it right back. Now, I'm not saying, oh, Roosh went stiff on the guy because I don't even know the match. I would have to see it to even give my opinion on that. Not that I would even know the truth behind that. But again, this all sounds like high school gossip. And also, though, okay, so this is guys giving each other receipts in wrestling. I mean, not the first we've heard of this. If it were to be true, again, pay me $5 and I'll just tell all my friends secret stories that make them look unprofessional and like that. I don't get the end game for that. But
Dude, and Toro Blanco, man, what a
big
beast.
tall Blanco, son.
God.
He beat the shit out of Blake Christian on Dark. The match is probably still up, bro. You gotta go find it.
Yo, someone please find me that match.
Shit,
please, we can watch it after this. We'll watch this match after this. I'm so serious.
Fuck out of Blake Christian.
Please find the match.
Yo, Roosh is cool with like a lot of the niggas in AEW. Like a lot of black people in AEW look cool. Really, all the Mexicans and black people are pretty cool.
Well, except for that one.
Not all.
Oh, you're not around them. Yo, if you ask anybody in AEW who the most racist nigga in AEW, they'd be like, yeah, Jose the assistant.
Yo, what?
If you ask anybody in AEW, just like insane implications, bro. So the people who text you are telling you this, or everybody, or is it nobody? You know?
Yeah, backstage.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Jose was kind of a jerk. He was mean to Stoke for no reason. It really hurt.
What did he call Stoke, Ibou? What word did he call Stoke?
He didn't call him any words, but he basically was like, "Why are you here and what do you do?" And Stoke was like, "Nigga, who are you?"
So I don't get it. He's like, "What did he call him?" And then the other guy's like, "He didn't call him anything. He just said, 'Why are you here?'" And then Stokey's like, "Who are you?" So the guy tweeting this out up, like, I don't know. I'm confused right now.
It is
crazy. Stokes not even the nigga who told me that Jose was the most racist nigga. It was two other niggas.
Someone asked, what Triple H thinks of Tony. It's weird because
it is weird. They keep saying it's really weird. Yeah, it is weird. This is all pretty weird, man. I don't know what they were trying to insinuate with that. Like they were insinuating Jose's racialist because he didn't say anything. What did he say to him? He didn't say anything. He just asked him why he's here. Okay. I just don't get why they would. And then they just go, it wasn't even Stokely who said that, but he tells me, but it was two other dudes who said it. This affects people's careers going forward that you say are your friends, that give you access. Again, what I was told, what access? You guys are idiots, So again, though, just the way they play it, the perception of the public, right, is we all look at it like, oh, they give these guys access, and then look at what they're doing with it, making like real adult accusations about people. Like people cheating, people being racialist, people fighting, people going, yeah, this place, I'm unhappy. I want to go to WWE or whatever. Let's all take a vote, Captain, or whatever. Who all votes? Aye, Captain. I'm making jokes, but that has like real implications to adults. All this sounds like just BS lies, honestly. That's what I'm saying. I think are lying, bro. Ibou just sounds like a compulsive liar. That's it. I just tend to agree. And if all these people are talking about people, like, what the man? People could lawyer up and do this is for real. Like you're saying crazy stuff. What I really didn't like was that they said about Sky Blue and who she was having sex with. Exactly. Way back, it wasn't ever Britt's cheating on Adam Cole. The rumor started their open relationship. So then it's like, well, then who cares? And then even if she is, okay, if they make it a TV angle, like the way they did Edge Lita Matt, okay, I get it then. If Britt goes online and starts responding to it all or saying or maybe copping to something or anything, okay, then they're making it people's business. But then to just like float that out and be like, well, she actually apologized to me, and then she just corrects him publicly just because he just wants to save face. That's all it is. And it's gross, man. Not saying we're not allowed to speculate and on things, right? And I'm going to bring, some people might go, Phil, you're doing the same. You're bringing it up. You're talking about it. You're platforming it. You're right. But I also wanted to give the perspective of like people reached out to me when this went down to be like, good on you for roasting this guy before, like, you were on it, man. This guy's an idiot. And what he's saying is lies. And so I feel, I should at least bring that and put that out there, without, trying to do more damage, right? I have the whole recording of this too. Someone had it. Someone was sending it around. I got sent like a whole thing of this. I'm sure more clips are going to come out as time comes out too. That's what makes this worse. Like, I don't think this is just going to go away overnight unless people already fine-tooth combed everything, which, let's be honest, internet sleuths, they probably have. The whole thing is like when it gets off of wrestling, then it's just stupid. That's where I go, dude, what are we talking about? If you guys want to play the whole let's dox and cancel and all that, go to the political griftosphere YouTube or section of Twitter and like, bro, talking about wrestling over here. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, and these dirt. But what have I been saying about these dirt sheets since day one? Like, what have I been saying forever? Who's been chronicling Ibou before me? I sniffed him out a mile away, dude. Right? And it's just because the way he can, nobody who is getting access to wrestlers and is humble about it is going to say something like, or isn't completely delusional, is they're not going to say something like, I could book NXT better than HBK. You know, what show are you watching? Even if it's not your cup of tea, that just absolutely makes no sense whatsoever. Let's see. I may have something else. So Sean Ross Sapp responds here because he had just hired Ibou, you know, and so a lot of people are like, dude, what a pie on your face or whatever, you know? And so Sean says, I don't deal in personal relationship gossip and verify news myself. Sean literally recently said that he just deals with internet gossip and sells dick pills. And he just deals with wrestling gossip. That's what he just said on a Spaces a month ago, dude, in December. I have the quote. He's like, I don't deal in personal relationships and gossip. Really? Because I have the quote right here. And this isn't an indictment of Sean. I don't care. This has nothing to do with him. But just listen to this. It's always copping out with, man. Look at this. Listen to what he says right here.
And you can say, are you a professional? No, I'm not a professional. I sell dick pills and pube trimmers on a podcast. No, I'm not I cover wrestling gossip. And you can say,
I cover wrestling gossip. I'm not professional. Now he's over here going, I don't deal in personal relationships and gossip, and I verify news myself. I don't get it from a Discord, and I don't even think resembly close to single sourcing. But you're a gossiping podcast dick pill guy. So what the f are you talking about? That's the whole thing, too. Come out and say, Ibou up. He should do this and this. I spoke to him behind the scenes, which Sapp did, and told him, dummy the up. And say, I told him, dummy the up. He defends himself. Why deflect yourself? And especially with that you don't even actually think either. Because you say this a week ago or a month ago.
Are you a professional? No, I'm not a professional. I sell dick pills and pube trimmers on a podcast.
What are we talking about, man? Phil don't miss. Phil does not miss. So here's this guy again saying SRS firing an employee because, yeah, and I mean, whoever gets fired, I'm not calling for heads. I don't want to see Ibou fired. I want Ibou to keep up because I'm going to keep chronicling it here and laughing at it on PWT, right? I ain't going to keep telling you that we won't stop. I ain't going to keep telling you that we won't stop. Head of state, Chris Rock, Bernie Mac. Anyways, Sapp says, yep, I have a bunch of people telling me to fire him and a bunch of people telling me I need to give it the same energy. I will have the discussion and decide. He's not going to fire him. He agreed to speak with me openly about it on the post show. So so the grifters are going to grift more out of this. Why do it for free? No, we can't just have this conversation in private or do it public. And no, they're going to do it on a platform for the hits. They do anything for clout. They do anything with clout. They do anything for clout. Considering this all played out in public, and actually I give Sean that. This did play out in public, so that is the way to hash it out is publicly. But come on, Lee. We know what's going on. So that was it, man. To cleanse the timeline, here's a little video to cleanse the timeline. Hopefully you guys enjoy this. Here's the last one here for our sicko sec. I don't know what that was all about, but AI is getting way out of hand. Ladies and gentlemen, round of applause for our sicko segment. I'm sorry you had to sit through that. Let's get a new